Hello, I'm Dr. Louise Munsell. I'm a clinical psychologist at Beyond Psychology in Rochdale. I usually do a science of emotions show because clinical psychologists are really focused on making sure we understand the science of emotions and that understand the brain. If we're going to really truly treat mental health difficulties and promote good mental health, we need to understand the brain. So I did a Science of Kindness show this morning for young children and was requested by a college to if they could have a small clip of it that would appeal to college students, or if we did a Science of Emotions show aimed at older people, which the answer was no until right now. And I thought, well, I'm all ready, so I might as well do a little clip for colleges, schools, and whoever adults who might benefit from this, because what we hear a lot of is talking therapy works, art therapy works, and being kind works. So do a random act of kindness, it's good for you, it's the 5 ways to wellbeing, all these things that we sometimes don't understand the biology of. And as you can see from my display of posters that I've managed to find around the house in lockdown or print off, evolution and the understanding the biology of the brain is very, very important if we're going to understand what's going on for somebody in terms of how they think, feel and act, and how their body's responding to what it's perceiving. So, quick focus on the science of kindness, as requested by the college I spoke to only earlier. When I want people to think about emotions very quickly, because I've done a whole host of shows on these 3 systems, that's Paul Gilbert. Anything Paul Gilbert does is wonderful, so just watch that anyway. But what I'm going to focus on is the 3 systems, and it's how different hormones are laid out in our brains. Okay, so there's predominantly dopamine. Threat system, which is cortisol and adrenaline, and the self-soothe system. We talk a lot about oxytocin being in this self-soothe system, and that's where kindness kicks in. So when we're kind to another person, it produces oxytocin in us. There's also evidence that it produces serotonin and endorphins, which people might have heard of as well. So it's producing this in our brain. I'll just get my toy brains that I made this morning with my son, to say that if someone's being kind, it's producing that chemical, that feeling, that sense in their brain that they're actually being kind and producing it in someone else's brain. We reciprocate. Our brains do that for us. It's the beauty of being human. But in fact, animals can have that experience. So at a lower part of our brain that we've not gone into in this show, you'll have to watch the children's version. The lower parts of our brain, kindness is also experienced in the lower parts, which is why animals can care for young and be kind to their young. What that also means is if we've not got the ability right now to be kind to others for whatever reason, or we're not around kind people, but we have been before and people have treated us right, we can imagine or bring to mind a memory of when we were treated in that way, and it will still produce that feeling in the lower parts of our brain, because the lower parts are an emotional system, they're not an intellectual system. So it's like tricking the brain into thinking that that experience is happening now. So it's the same reason we get quite fueled up with adrenaline if we've had a bad dream, because there's parts of our brain that think it's real. But if we apply that to kindness, we can also bring to mind when we're really stressed or when we're really struggling, a time when somebody's been like that, and this is scientifically why that helps you. We kind of know that it helps us, but we don't know why. So I'm hoping this show kind of explains a little bit about the science of kindness and why that helps, because it's producing certain chemicals that our bodies really, really thrive on and succeed on. Darwin talked about survival of the fittest, and most of us at my age have heard of that phrase, survival of the fittest. What we tended to miss learning about is how much Darwin focused on survival of the fittest in relation to those that are empathic and kind. Okay, being empathic and kind reduces blood pressure and extends life expectancy. It's massive. Okay, it's exceptionally good for you to have received these amount of hormones in your brain, and this amount of chemicals, should I say. It also triggers you won't see it obviously, that down the brain stem is what's known as the vagus nerve, and that's highly stimulated when we're kind to others and we receive kindness. So it is definitely something we want to be catching. Okay, of all the things we don't want to be catching right now, kindness is definitely something we need to be catching. So go forth and catch kindness and spread kindness, because it's very, very good for us all. And if there was ever a time we needed it, it's now. So very best of luck.